Hello, hello. This is an audio test. Hello, hello. Hello, people. Thank you for coming. Congrats to the other MC on being blurst. Good job. Also thanks for sharing the link to my stream. I posted mine, or I posted a link there that I had ready to go before the stream, and then I was like, oh, you already shared that, cool, so I deleted mine. So I appreciate you just sharing it on my behalf. You don't have to do that. And also, good morning from the Philippines, Gertie. Good afternoon from Canada. And good afternoon to Doodlebop in Wisconsin. And I'll be ready to reveal the camera in a moment. I also think I noticed a typo in my title when I was sharing it all to Discord and stuff. Let's get to the bottom of this. Oh yeah, I named the number of the stream. I put 12 instead of 2, so let me just fix that real quick. Hopefully that went through. Okay, we can lower the screen now. And I'll get ready to paint. Let me know if the audio sounds alright or if there's any weird echo or delay like usual. And we've got continued base coating today. Should be pretty chill. I've on in front of me right now, I've just got all the pieces that have already been started. I think there's like 3 small pieces that I've finished the base coats on. But as you can see, a lot of these have been partially started. Because, you know, I was doing some painting off camera. Also, sorry to anyone that was expecting a live stream on Saturday. It just didn't end up working out, and you know me, I like to just be a mysterious internet enigma that doesn't have a stream schedule, because I'm bad at this, I guess. Oh boy, Doodlebop's hoping to finish the Strike Freedom tonight. Oh, backpack and weapons. Yeah, you're definitely in the home stretch there. I wish you good luck on that. Thanks to everyone who's shown up already. This was a bit of a last minute decision to do this stream. I didn't set any countdown or anything like usual, so it's always reassuring that kind of the same amount of people show up. Also, hello, Artie Chard. Welcome. Just gotta re-moisten the palette first. We do have some purple bleeding into the sponge over here, but you know, if the sponge gets stained a little bit, it's fine. Look at any experienced painter's wet palette and you'll see a lot of stains. Like, I could try and get some of that stain out in the middle of the painting process here, but it's kind of a pain, and I would rather not start a new piece of palette paper because, you know, I like to save the palette paper at the end of the project and take a photo of it, because this project's the fancy gradients on the palettes are going to be mostly gray, so it's not going to be like as exciting as some of the other ones, but it'll still be worth saving. Hello, Hugo. I've been alright. Thanks for coming by. Well, I guess we'll start with black. Let's work on this foot piece, because this one will probably be the quickest to finish. Oh yeah, let's make sure the camera focus points in the right spot. Yeah, as you can see here, this foot is basically done. So I think all I'm gonna do... Okay, I need to paint the inside of the panels. I need to finish... I guess I don't really need to do that. I could probably leave it. Or just put some black on it. But this panel at the back, we're gonna paint that black for sure. And that's probably the only thing to do on that foot. So we can get a solid dopamine hit in at the beginning of the stream and just get that piece done, hopefully. Anyone else working on any models or hobby stuff tonight? Or playing any video games, perhaps? Regardless, I hope everyone's having a chill Sunday, or I guess it's Monday morning in the Philippines right now. Who is that? Gertie? And the brush I'm using for most of these base coats here is like, it's not one of my like garbage tier brushes, but it's like one of the ones, sorry, I bumped the camera with my head there. It's like a lot of the time when choosing a brush, the rationale is, what's the largest brush that I think I can get away with for the painting I need to do? Because the larger the brush, the more paint it holds, and then you can get the painting done faster because you have to spend less time going back to the palette for a refill. But you know, if you have a larger brush, it's harder to control. So this brush holds the tip well, or like the tip is fine enough to be good to paint these base coats relatively quickly, but the tip won't the tip for this won't be adequate for when it comes to the the edge highlighting and stuff. And like some of you would have seen in the last stream, we do need, or most of these base coats are taking at least 2 coats to get even coverage like usual. Hello, Gunpla of EL. Thanks for tuning in from the Netherlands. Also, hello Charlie Moreland. And hello, Apollo Vanron. Thank you for the compliment. Alright, just give that black a couple more minutes to dry here. Trying to decide. Okay, that panel's black in there is good. Okay, yeah, these spots here, I think we'll paint those with the gray. Probably. Yeah, these panels in here is going to be interesting to decide. It's probably not, or that piece is going to require some mental energy. Maybe we'll push that one to be worked on a bit later. I can definitely work on these for a minute though. That foot piece is probably dry now. Alright, I'm just going to mix a bit of the light gray now to tidy up the edge that some of the black got onto. And then that foot piece will be done. So we got a bit of water spillage on the edge here. Hello, large beverage. Good afternoon. I don't know if y'all just saw that white paint bottle burst onto my fingers a bit there. I don't think I got any on my shirt. It looks like some did get on the pallet though. I should probably mop that up. Oh, something happened with this brush. It's gone totally stiff. Is this just a dollar store brush for like mixing and stuff? As I am looking at this foot here. Okay, so the underside here, I was like, I could try and base coat that, but it's not going to be like when it's sitting down on the base. You might be able to see part of it, but I think I can just kind of leave it how it is now and it'll be fine. We'll give that one more check before we actually glue it to the base, because it'll be a lot easier to fix when it's not glued to the base if we do end up changing our mind there. Got some weird fibers in the paint there. Okay, I think we can call that foot done now. Damn, 100 pieces just for a backpack? That sounds like a... Definitely sounds like a perfect grade or a master grade extreme, I suppose. Okay, let's work on the waist. So I need to figure out which pieces... Okay, so I think this will do black there. And there. Okay, well, let's just start with that. There's a lot of layers of armor panels in this crotch area. So it's requiring a bit of mental fortitude to figure out how to block it out. But, you know, the pieces that are more covered up, those are better candidates for black. Because out of like the light gray / white, gray, and black is like, I want to be in like third place in terms of like how much of it is on the kit, the representation. We do have a bit of a metallic grid on the top detail here, though, that we're going to attempt to preserve. Let's make the camera a little brighter. Sorry, I bumped it with my head again there. All right. So I think we'll do... Okay, now we gotta make another color decision. Hello, MJRL Hobby Stuff. Thanks for coming by. Okay, maybe I'll do these side stripe pieces black. And the piece right under it will do the regular gray. And then light gray in the middle part. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, do you do live streams, Mr. Hobby Stuff? And before I do the second coat on this black, I have realized that when I'm painting I need to paint the panel that it's sitting right under first because it's more recessed, so painting it I'm gonna just make more mistakes onto the neighboring pieces, so it makes more sense to paint that part first. So let's get some on the palette. Very understandable hobby stuff. Was it Gunpla stuff that you did live? Or scale modeling stuff, I should say? Okay, so as I'm painting this panel here, you'll probably see what I mean about spilling over onto the neighboring spots. At least I realized this before doing the second coat of black. And we'll have that go onto this bridging panel here. I think I'll do these side pieces as the white color, so. Question is, do we do the middle part with the black? Don't know. We do have these little squares here, though, that definitely know I'm going to paint with this. Okay, I think it makes the most sense to do these side bits in the white, and then think we've got enough black. No, I think and then these extra panels up top here, those can also be black. But do we have this middle part be black or not? Oh, you can see how bad that brush is splitting right now. Just check that out. That's a good question. I think we've got enough black balance. So we'll do this part. Do this middle part gray. Sorry for loudly clearing my throat there. Okay. I need to tidy up a bit on the back panel here. Also need a second coat of paint on a lot of this flat area here. Perhaps we'll need one more thin coat on this back area once it's dry, because it is one of the larger flat surfaces, so it gets a little patchy. Alright, let's get some of the light gray on, and then we'll be able to better decide our color blocking choices. Although it's awkward calling it color blocking where you're just painting a bunch of black and gray. Oh, nice, a live stream of the snap build. I haven't done one of those in a while. I do enjoy them though. Yeah, for painting the inside of this piece, I guess you can't quite see it from the angle in the camera here, but I don't focus on getting the inside of the shape painted. I can just leave it with the gold in there. I just need to paint the lip with the edge, the border, you could say. You can kind of see what I did there. I think this gray band below here could actually be the lighter gray. I think that'll look better. It's the crotch area, so it is gonna be front and center most of the time. Might as well make sure that we block out the color, block out the armor in a way that complements the shapes the best. Though we won't truly be able to say the final call until I see what it looks like put together with these armor blocking choices. So in that case, if I switch up any color choices, that'll like full on be in the next stage. Okay, back to black for a moment. Now we can put the second coats on these parts. Sorry, the barbecue skewer that this part is on just poked the mic. Good thing I had the foam on it to prevent popping or less harsh popping noises, but it also will dampen the harsh noise of a barbecue skewer scraping against the mic. I think what I need to do is take this bottom panel on the crotch here and make that the main gray color. I think that's what I need to break up the black that's on there currently. So I think we'll do that, and then this piece will be done as well. Another one down in this very exciting base coating stage. So is anyone watching the stream right now watch the last stream and remember when I mentioned what the main customization gimmick of this project is going to be? Anybody? It's not a super crazy gimmick or anything. It's a little out of the ordinary compared to the Gunpla I've done the last year or so. Out of the ordinary for me specifically, not out of the ordinary at all for Gunpla. hello, Iron Elemental. Good midnight to you as well. Oh, well, Hugo, I'm gonna do my typical, like, model mayhem style with this project, but instead of doing gradients with a bunch of glazing or a bunch of freehand, I'm gonna try and use some water slide decals, which, you know, I've done before, but not with my typical hand painting business. So that's the main gimmick for, well, one of the gimmicks for this project. Maybe gimmick isn't the right word. Gimmick, I feel like, implies it's like for a novel purpose. It's just, I guess it's like one of the customization techniques or angles I'm taking with this project. The last project I did a bunch of decals on was the real grade Hainu, I believe. That was a long time ago. That was like 2 years ago. And of course, in that video, I mispronounced the word as decal. Got a few snarky comments about that. So, I don't know, maybe I'll have to make some joke about that, about pronouncing it wrong in the script. I mispronounced it because I had heard other people refer to them as decals myself, so I'm not the only one who mispronounces it. And, you know, people mispronounce things all the time. I don't really make a big deal out of it. Or I should say the context matters, I suppose. Okay, let's call this waste done for now. And let's figure out of this pile of pieces I got in front of me, which one is the next most completed one. You've heard of both ways already, Chad. I'm pretty sure the correct way is decal. This piece is pretty close to done. Let's work on this. The shoulder piece. Let's just take it off. Or put it this way, it'll be easier. Okay, yeah, the main things I need to decide is like this front piece and then this piece. Main color, the color that there's less of on here. Okay, I think we'll do this with the main gray. I feel like I should do that for this bottom piece too, but I think this one is more calling for... Okay, now we can do this one partially. That's hard to say. I think, yeah, I guess that one should probably be mostly gray as well. That'll be the proper balance. Question is, do I need any more of the white? Well, let's focus on the darker gray first. And then we'll make a call. And I can tell that this is a little too thin now. Oh, got a little fiber stuck to the end of the brush there. Water sticker? Oh, I see. Or maybe I'll just call them slippery boys. I would love that if the industry's term for them just became slippery boys, even though it is a little gendered. But you know, it's like the meme way of spelling boys, like BOIS, which I don't know. To me, it's like borderline a gender neutral term at this point in the meme lexicon. Yeah, now this panel here, I'm a little unsure of my color choices. Let's take a moment to think about it. Probably makes... I want to say it makes sense to like paint it gray. I think maybe this part that's painted black right now, we need to change that to the gray. Now that wouldn't... But the way I'm going to highlight that, that's actually not... Okay, maybe I think this piece... We can preserve some of the gold, but I think this like border at the top, we need to paint over that with black. The gold just needs to be subdued a tad, and it'll also make our future edge highlighting a lot easier. The shoulders are going to have just a bit more black in the mix than other parts perhaps, which is fine. So you can see the palette needs some more black on it. Glad you think so, Iron Elemental. It's like the real Millennial Model Mayhem challenge is to paint a hand-painted Gunpla project and don't just rely on black as one of the armor panel colors. Never gonna happen. Well, maybe one day. I'm too reliant on it right now, though. Okay. Well, let's paint this. Do we paint that gray or black? I think we gotta paint... Yeah, we should just do this whole thing gray. And yeah, granted, it is a bit inefficient to have, like, you know, blasted this thing so heavily with metallics and then paint over a lot of it, but I don't know, it's just my workflow. I like to get the airbrushing stage over with pretty quickly, and I don't like do the line art thing a lot of the time where you block out the colors before you actually start painting. I typically like just go into it having a general idea of what I want to do and then figure it out as I go, and sometimes that leads to not the most efficient painting, but it's not about being efficient. Sorry, don't mind me as I just stare at this piece over and over again. I'm just trying to... Yeah, the more I look at this piece right there, the more I think I should paint it. The gray... I think I should leave it for now and make a decision after, or once I can see everything put together. if I like change my mind on the colors and redo it, that gives me something, just a couple more sentences to mention in the script. And we can probably call this shoulder piece done for now. There's just a little bit of extra black needed right here. Okay, boom, 3 pieces done, and we haven't even been streaming for an hour. Look at that. Those pieces were all started before the stream even happened, though, so it's not that big a deal, I guess. Small parts and corners don't need the bright uniform colors. Yeah, that's true. I won't get as good a metallic without the brush. Are you talking about the like gold metallic underframe? Are you talking about painting non-metallic metal? I'm glad you appreciate seeing the thought process and just my concentrating face, Iron Elemental. Alright. The next easiest piece to finish is probably this arm here. So that's definitely going to be black. Okay, the color to use up on the palette quickest here is the light gray. So let's just do a bit of that real quick. Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying now, Artie Chard. Yeah, I do rely a bit on just get the air, or I don't use the airbrush for much, but one thing I do often use it for is to get a good metallic base coat down, because it's pretty tricky to do that with hand painting, I'll admit. Okay, I think we're gonna repaint these parts to gray. And I'll do this part with the light gray. So therefore, this skinny panel here should also get the light gray. Yeah, these arm pieces on this Kitbash build are probably some of the more hodgepodge sections of the Kitbash. With the section like the legs, it was just like a leg swap with a different kit. because I like the gray's legs, but things like the arms, I was like, I started off with just like not having a full arm set, and just like taking random scraps and trying to make something as a usable arm out of it all. Okay, yeah, this top panel here, I don't know whether I want the light gray, the gray, or the black. I think we could do the light gray. That's a good question. The really janky bar that kind of shoots out across, we're gonna do that, at least part of that, with black. Yeah, I think we'll do it black, and then the kind of underneath, the like base part of the arm, we'll do the gray. So we should paint the gray first. Right, and we're gonna repaint this and that. So we definitely need some more of that on the palette. There's some more. Hang on a sec while I just second guess myself. Do we want to do that black, or do we want... I think we still got to do it the gray first, either way. Start by painting the parts that I know for sure should get the gray. Sorry, not very talkative right now because this part's just requiring a bit of finesse. Oops, I spilled a bit. Let's mop that up. These little power symbols that came from Barbatos on these panels, considering giving them the glow effect for when I get to that part of the stage. But I might just kind of leave them with a basic edge highlight. Okay, now that I've painted this gray on, I think it was a mistake painting these two panels the gray, but the rest I'm good with. So I'll just repaint those black. And then that's all that's left to do on this piece. There is one thing I was wondering. Okay. No, we'll leave that. Okay, let's get some more black on the palette. Oh, I forgot to put gray there. If that's what I want to do. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And do that after using up the paint on the brush right now. Putting this many different layers on from changing my mind isn't ideal for getting a nice smooth finish, but it's pretty small area, so I ain't gonna worry about it. Yeah, that's kind of true, arty chart. But I mean, like, if you had a bunch of like really thick layers, then you might end up with some troublesome brush strokes or like textures left behind. Is what I was getting at. But yeah, it also definitely, if it's like near a moving part, the more layers you put on, the thicker it gets, the more chance it might interfere with the moving. Which is why sometimes you see people masking off the ball joints and stuff when they're airbrushing, so things don't get too tight afterwards. But I don't usually do that because I kind of like the extra tightness it gives the joints when there's just a bit of paint in there. But sometimes, like, if there's too much, it can like damage the pieces, or like the paint will start peeling at the joint where you don't see it, but then that peel can like spread out to like more visible areas. I've never like masked off ball joints though, and I haven't really had any huge issues with that. Kind of weird how of all these colors I'm using, the black is the one that requires the most coats to get a good finish on for the hand painting. I guess this black is more meant for airbrushing. So I should temper my expectations. And if anyone's wondering, this joint is locked at the elbow, so it does not bend. Because if it did, I would just tear up a bunch of that nice gold paint every time I moved it. This is a bit of a tricky crack to get into. Ugh. It's on the underside of the arm, so I borderline like don't even need to paint this part, but oops. See, now I'm spilling onto other areas. Should have done that part first. Just trying to mop that up. I think we could probably put this piece down for now. Let's see, how's this? How am I feeling about this color blocking anyways? I think that's okay for now. So now let's move on to this torso, which, as you can see, has already been started. So let's just take a moment to study this here. I think I want to change this panel down here, and I kind of connect. It'll be easier to leave that as the gray. It's like right now it feels like there isn't enough of the light gray on here, but the shoulders are gonna like balance that out, so I think it'll be fine. I don't think we need to put any more light gray on here. There's a bit on the palette I want to use up though. Can I use it on... We've got a partially started leg here. Panels on this are interesting. We could like separate it into two different colors like here. I was also thinking of painting the missiles purple or yellow. And then there's this back panel. I think we want to paint this back panel with the white. So we'll use up the rest of the light gray that's on the palette now for that. Probably only enough for one coat. All right. Back to that torso. Yeah, already tried. You do the same thing. You're like having that paint layer to make the joint a bit tighter. Yeah, blue tack. That works too. Used coffee grounds for when you want to give something a weathered look. Yeah, I mean, if you're going for brown weathering, I can see coffee does stain really well. You can also use coffee as basing materials. Red, always go for red rockets. Well, the color palette for this project specifically, I don't want any red at all. But otherwise, the red rockets do look good, I'll admit that. Also, hello, Rox D. Sibek, however you say that. Just to prevent from dust, I'm gonna put the pieces that have been finished back in the case. Just needed a minute for them to dry. You can see I just have a plastic tub here I keep things in to keep them protected from dust as best I can. There's always gonna be some dust that has to be brushed off. I've learned that lesson. Can never fully get rid of the dust. Also, here's the base for those of you who haven't seen it. It's purple. Going for a bit of a different gradient this time because it's like a rogue mercenary mech. It's not going to be part of any crew or team. Oh, and there's the shoulder piece too. Can't forget that. He's off the chain? What's that a reference to? Or what are you talking about that's off the chain? Me? Does anyone else here who paints Gunpla find or like enjoy the part of the process where you're trying to figure out like where to apply your custom colors? Or do some of you find that like tedious and daunting and you like will go with the box art color scheme? Something I talked about in my last video about choosing custom colors. How many of you watching the stream watched my latest video? That's something I'd like to know, or something I'm curious about. And if you haven't, did you know that I even had one? So there was a long gap between uploads, so I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube did that thing where it just doesn't notify people. Oh, I see what you mean. The freelance make. Yeah, yeah, they are off the chain. They ain't tied to no arcology or crawler. Those are the Gamma Wolves terms, by the way. I was redoing some of my Gamma Wolves builds this afternoon, actually. I'm kind of like... I painted most of the weapons on my Gamma Wolves mechs to like have that glowing kind of energy weapon look to them, but I'm not a huge fan of the way that energy melee weapons are statted in Gamma Wolves, so I think I'm just gonna like I've been restatting things to just be using regular melee weapons, and maybe for some people that would mess up the like what you see is what you get tabletop rule, but for me it's like, well, it's still like a physical melee weapon. It's just got, it's like it's heated up a bit like the Zaku Heat Hawk. It's like a true energy weapon, then be something energy melee weapon, I should say. That's like if you got like a lightsaber or like beam saber type thing, that one would be hard to justify as like a regular melee weapon. But like the Darbatos has what is clearly a katana. It's just like the metal is glowing, and Heavy Arms has the hatchet axe that is glowing. So same deal. But also, like, when you're playing war games, you can like there's a lot of wargaming that happens that isn't like what you see is what you get. Like a lot of people will be like, oh well, this Space Marine model I'm using is holding this weapon physically in his hand, but for the game stats it's actually this one that I paid for with the points upgrades. Like most people are okay with that. Okay, I need to go use the bathroom and refill my water bottle real quick. Glad you like the gray and black contrasting with the gold. I like it myself. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, the Dom's weapon is pretty janky, the heat rod. Also, I like that WYSIWYG schmoozywig. I agree. Alright, where were we? This, all the color is laid down on this piece. We just need to add second coats of the gray. It looks like the black and the light gray are good to go. Also, Dom, great design, iconic. I'd say that the design of the Dom is just as good as the Zaku. But a goof is, I think a goof is classier than a Dom, for the record. And of course, the Gog and the Zoc dwarf everything else in terms of, like, just sheer class and elegance. And the High Gog, of course. Oh, we got a chunk of paint that's just dried onto the piece. It's gonna have to be sanded later. I'll probably do a sanding pass off camera before I like document the 360 and work in progress photos once the base coats are done. We had to do that with the base, or I had to do that with the base because I was using this older purple paint that's just a little chunky. I might retire the pot after this project, as a matter of fact. I've gotten lots of use out of it over the years. So it's time to... I think I've dealt with the chunkiness of it enough for now, and I should just let it go. Because you know how I like to often use old bottles of paint that I got lying around on these one-off projects. The ones where I don't have to worry about, like, replicating it across multiple entries, like, you know, the colors used for the bases or colors used for my conquest armies. Alright, that's probably fine for now. Oh, well, when I see the flat panels of the goof, I just think, or of the Dom, I just think of the freehand that I could do on it. Or the gradients. I think I like the design of the Dom's head a lot. Yeah, when it comes to this leg, you know, there's the panel that's attached to the foot that's going right here is white. So yeah, we'll do all that gray, all that gray. Yeah, then the main question is what the missile pod's gonna get. But it'll obviously be easier to make a decision on that once we got the rest of the legs colors on. And also this, similar to how the arms were locked at the elbows, these legs are locked at the knees. So that there's no situation where the leg accidentally bends a bit and tears up all that gold paint. And I did not make that decision lightly. I did carefully consider what kind of pose I would want this model to be in. And with how janky this model's kitbash is, there are definitely, like, especially with the way that I built the shoulders in this, there's only kind of like one or two angles that look good, or angles and poses, I should say. So I spent time considering all of that before I more or less locked the pose in place. And you know, certain projects that get the Model Mayhem style treatment for tabletop gaming, some of them end up more posable than others. And this Kitbash project, it's one of the less posable ones, which is fine by me. If the project doesn't need to be super posable, it makes the kit bashing a bit easier a lot of the time. Like this thigh missile pod, for example, you can imagine like if this mech was existing in some sort of animated program, you can imagine these missile pods like pivoting to tilt up or down. But you know, if it's a static model that's being used in a tabletop game, you know, it's like acts like a miniature or a statue. Like, it doesn't really need to pose. And so being able to just like pick an angle for it to be glued on and just like stick it on there, that takes up way less time than like drilling the holes and like scratch building the parts or altering other parts to be able to make something that actually pivots. So yeah, there's my, hopefully the explanation makes sense for my lazy kit bashing. Maybe lazy isn't the right word. It's just like wargamer, or someone approaching Gunpla like a wargamer, pilled. It reminded me of something else I was gonna say, but lost my train of thought in the middle of painting that leg there. Oh yeah, and I do like, it is, I think all my kits, they're like, the heads were not glued on, so like the heads can all turn, and that can be, if nothing else it moves on the kit, if you can still like articulate the head, then that gives you like a pretty decent amount of flexibility in terms of like posing for photos and stuff. And I also like to do that because it means the like way I've painted my recent bases, how they're like separated into quadrants. A game like Gamma Wolves, it has the front arc being like a 90-degree cone facing forward, but then with the way I've kept the heads posable, it means I can rotate the heads so it faces a different, like uses it more along the dividing lines instead of the 90-degree cone. So the same model can be utilized for different tabletop games that are model agnostic. I think I talked about that in my Gundam aerial video, or it might have been the Gushin Delanza Kitbash video. That's right, I wasn't expecting this P3 gray color to be the one. It's like the black is the one that has the worst coverage out of all these, and so it like takes the most coats, but the gray is the one that's like coming out the most chunky. Also, I messed up on this area here trying to scrub it away, but the paint might be too dry now. I don't even think that part's gonna be visible. I think the foot panel is gonna cover that, so let's not dwell there. Oops, sorry, definitely bumped the mic there. Hopefully I didn't destroy anyone's ears with that. So you can kind of see how the light's reflecting on there. You can see the brush strokes. That's the chunkiness I was talking about, sort of. Whoops. We spilled over. Sorry, hopefully my focus hasn't been too bad here. I just kind of realized now how wildly I was moving this piece around. And now this lower half of the leg does have a pretty big uninterrupted section of this darker gray color. But I think that's gonna be fine. That's another thing where it's like I don't know if I'll be able to tell if it looks right until I can see the whole thing put together. We are painting this little part of the panel that sticks out, though. I think what I was talking about a minute ago about not knowing whether the color blocking choices will be the right ones until I can see the full thing together. I think that can be an excuse for me for right now to not do the second coat to give it the full coverage it needs, because if I end up changing my mind on where I want the color placement, then it'll be better if I don't do that second coat yet. Now it is time to decide on what to do with this missile pod here. I think we gotta do majority black, because trying to get on to the inside areas. And I could do gray for the inside. And then these like diagonal parts we could do. We could do those black or white. This is gonna be tricky. Okay, well, we'll start with doing the gray. Because I'm thinking about like what to paint on the inside bit here. Trying to get like the white in there and make it look good is gonna be rough. But with our gray color, it won't be so bad. So yeah, I suppose lots of painting decisions come down to like, or at least for me anyways, will come down to like what's actually like reasonably doable and what is gonna drive me insane. Yeah, and it's like I don't even need to worry about the coverage in there too much because you can't even see it. Or you can't really see it, I should say. I just kind of need to... The coverage needs to look good along the peripheries, I should say. The other areas, not so much. And I got these kind of side trapezoids that wrap around, so they're also going to get the gray. And obviously, like, since this is the first color being laid down in this area, I can just be sloppy and not really paint inside the lines. Also, these panels are a little confusing in how, like, or it's not super clear where they start and begin. Okay, well, with how with how I see the actual panel lines working, I think I have to paint the gray into this area here. Perhaps those parts that we're wrapping around that I just mentioned would actually be better off with the lighter gray. Yeah, okay. Kind of just painting the gray all over now so I can like better tell where the actual lines are. So there's a fiber that got painted in there. Okay, well that's drying. Let's mix some more light gray. Gotta adjust the camera a bit there. It's a little too close to my head. Yeah, scribing chisels are good for increasing your definition. I just don't like scribing enough to actually do it. I'm not good enough at scribing, it feels like. Yeah, I mean, these missile pods are like the missile pods from Master Grade Heavy Arms, so they're all kind of supposed to be the same color anyways. The first time I used my scribing tools, I cut my fingers like 5 times in 5 minutes. It was rough. I was like, okay, I guess these are sharp tools. Okay, well, let's just start painting this the light gray and see how it goes. Oh man, you can just see all these random fibers that dry in with the paint. It's rough. Sharp does equal good. Yeah, it's here. This is where that panel line is really unclear. It's like, do I just try and paint a straight line for an imaginary panel line? mean, I'm liking how it's looking with these two diagonal bits being painted white. Sorry, I've probably been bad about keeping things in focus the last few minutes. Oh, get that fiber out of there. No, it's stuck. Get out. I'm just wiping it off now. I'm feeling like this is a piece I'll have to study diligently off camera, make a decision after the stream or during the off stream painting. And with all the repainting I've done on this, we'll probably need to do some sanding just to smooth down those textures a bit. Yep, you definitely want to start the few passes on the scriber with not a lot of pressure. Now, before I put this piece down, I do want to switch to some fun, exciting purple. Because we are going to paint these missiles purple, I've decided. Yeah, I'd rather scribe with a chisel than a hobby knife. But, you know, sometimes all you got's a hobby knife. And if you're wondering what this purple is, I don't really have an answer for you. It's just some random homebrew that I mixed. I think there's a couple old Citadel inks that were like kind of running out, so I tried to salvage them along and combine with some other paints and mediums to just make like a custom mix that I could never possibly recreate. So, you know, the kind of paint that's ideal to use on a one-off project like this rogue mercenary. I guess, can a mercenary even be rogue? Well, you know what I mean. I suppose if one company hires a mercenary and then the mercenary betrays them, then it's gone rogue. Probably overthinking it. And this is, it's a very indigo purple, I should say. Not worrying too much about getting full coverage on like the inside of the missile tubes. they're not that visible. Mostly just need to get it around the sides where they're exposed. There is not a 0 chance that these purple missiles might get repainted yellow if I change my mind later. Again, it comes down to knowing what the overall color balance will be. All right. How are we doing for time? We're at 1 hour 48. Suppose I could... yeah, I should keep painting because I got paint on the palette. Let's go to the tub and see what else needs to be done here. Well, this foot will be quick to finish, so I'll definitely use that. We'll take the reference foot out. And then we got a leg, a shoulder, and an arm. Those are all lengthier pieces. Okay, what I'm gonna do is we'll finish that foot, and then we can have both the feet done. Then I'll wrap up the stream after the foot's done. And I'd say that this stream plus the one stream I did before, that's plenty of base coating content for this project, and I'll do the rest of the base coating off camera so that the next live streams will be with let's put these back in the bin. The next live streams hopefully early this coming week. I mean, if I'm extremely on the ball, it'll be tomorrow morning, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But what I was meaning to say is the next live streams for this project will be the edge highlighting. You know, everyone's favorite. I do need a bit of putty. Alright, just one humble foot left for today's stream. Looks like we should use this black first. So, this bottom part of the heel gets black. And we kind of just leave the insides with the gold. And now that I've, painted the other foot inefficiently, now I know how to paint this foot more efficiently. By doing the black that needs to go on the inside here first. So I don't have to worry about it splashing onto areas it's not supposed to be, because I haven't painted those areas yet. Couldn't explain what I was doing there because the skewer was in my mouth, but I just caught a couple bits on the other foot that needed to be touched up. Okay, that black just needs to... No, I'll start at the back. We can do... What we need is more black on the palette. Hello, Joey Wickersham. Yes, I do stream. I'm just really, really bad at having a stream schedule, you know? Just like how I'm bad about having an upload schedule. But yeah, I do stream. Plenty of live stream VODs in the catalog for you to check out if you like. You know, there's only so much recording of the painting I need to do for the proper video, so you know, I figured some of the painting that doesn't need to be recorded as B-roll can be done in a live stream as a sort of a supplementary content. Because, you know, I'm going to be painting anyways. And even, like, there's enough painting to go around for live streams, painting on camera, and just, like, being in the painting zone in the introverted sense and not recording it or streaming it. Of course, it depends on the project. And I have done some live streams in the past that were just like casual Gunpla building streams, which are always fun. This kitbash I'm painting right now, actually, I did some kitbashing for it on stream earlier this year. It was like a multi-project kitbashing stream. I said your last name right? I take it that doesn't happen that often then. Also, hello, Shane. And Artie Chard, which part were you referring to as the most satisfying bit? Talk about just painting the feet? Or are you probably referring to the edge highlighting? Which, yeah, I can... It's hard to say. There's a lot of satisfying parts of the process, but edge highlighting is definitely pretty satisfying. Oh, I do think we need to paint a bit of a black stripe that I missed over here. Okay, now on to the darker gray. Oh yeah, kitbashing is great. I love it. I said in a video before, even if you swap like only one single part from a kit, still counts as a kitbash. And the thing with kitbashing is you don't have to like, or I mean, I don't think you don't need to like think about doing it like right away and like customizing that way. You kind of have an excuse to just build a lot of stuff straight out of box first, and then like as you accumulate more kits, you'll inevitably get extra parts accumulating, and you know, like the more kits in your collection, the more options for kit bashing you have. So it's a good time. Highly recommend. Almost every project I've done is kit bashed in at least a minor way. Some of my kit bashes are a bit more in depth than others. The one I'm painting now, I mean, the leg that I'm painting now doesn't have a ton of kit bashing on it, but like the waist, torso, and arms are pretty heavily kit bashed. I have a video, came out about a year ago at this point. I think it's called like kit bashing models and dealing with imposter syndrome or something. It's got kit bashing of conquest models and Gunpla models in that video. That was like the first proper video performance or appearance for the kit I'm painting right now. Back then it had a whole different set of legs and head. Oh, hopefully you can check out one of the edge highlighting streams then, Artie Chard. Edge highlight, the main thing to, or the main part that involves the edge highlighting is brush control and like having maintaining a good tip on your brush. And then, you know, somewhat related to that is like getting the right consistency of paint so that it doesn't go on too thick, but it's not too thin that you lose control. Oh, we broke 2 hours, folks. We did it. And I'd say we got probably 5-10 minutes of painting left before this foot's done. The Gray's mobile suit's probably my favorite design from Iron-Blooded Orphans. It's the most, and you know, most of the reason for that is just these fabulous heels it's got. I know it's not the only thing with heels in Iron-Blooded Orphans, but it's like the main thing I think of, probably because, and also I have a real soft spot for the Grays because the very first Gunpla hand painted in like Model Mayhem style was the Grays Kitbash I did. Though that was from the first Grays I bought, which was Carta's Grays. The one that's like turquoise. Some parts from that kit I'm actually using on this Kitbash in the shoulders. Alright, now the other side. All right. I suppose we need a second coat on both of these. But that won't take that long, so I'll give you all the warning now if you have any messages or super chats or anything you want to get in before the stream's over. Last call. Okay, now the foot's done. Glad you could have a relaxing time watching the stream, Joey. So yeah, next stream, I don't think I'll be ready to do it tomorrow. Probably do Tuesday or Wednesday in the morning or afternoon. Bit of edge highlighting. As usual, I will not be doing a stream schedule because I always end up screwing myself over with those because like something comes up and I can't adhere to the schedule anyways. But I didn't have like a countdown warning for this stream, and we still got about the same amount of people watching, so I think I'm okay with just, not continuing to not have the stream schedule. Okay, well on that note, I will say have a good Sunday/Monday to everyone. And thanks again for watching, and I hope I can see you again at the next one. Goodbye.